Okay, good morning, folks. If you're just kind of coming across this is Miss Rosie, Rosie Jane, Rosie Bella, Rosebuds. But she is a Dachshund, obviously. And I think we're working on about 9 weeks now. And this is day 3. And unfortunately, we have not heavy, but it is definitely raining here in Georgia with thunder and lightning. Now, no dog that I've ever known particularly enjoys the sound of thunder, but Dachshunds, like with their scent, they have a very, very highly sensitized sense of hearing. They had to listen in those dark tunnels, sometimes with just about enough room to corner a ferocious 25 to 40 pound badger with teeth that could crush bone and 1 to 2 inch claws. And these guys will not back down. Now, they've been obviously over 600 years highly domesticated, but she doesn't like the sound of thunder. That's where I'm going with all this. And she got her first taste. And, the reaction I was kind of expected, terror. And, but one kind of bright side to that was to see when it happened again, when she was actually on the floor, she just darted for her space before she even came to me. So that is a very, very good sign to me that she is, well, we don't want to eat our home, honey. I have no regrets about this baby at all, but it is mesh, and we have a pen coming. She actually can't get her teeth on it, like the sides, enough to pop through it, but we also have a playpen gated area and a rug / bed the exact same size of the measurements of the pen. My husband's going all out on this. I love the side of him that she is bringing out, which is just protective parent. He can get, much more logical when it comes to safety. I lean more towards the emotional, but she did fall off the bed, and for her size and the Dachshund, so there are very specific concerns about the back and her bones. She kind of just rolled over and got right back up. Immediately tested, I think, about 4 different points. But now the only thing about today that kind of sucks is it's going to be a setback on potty training for sure. I have a pad set up in the bathroom. Immediately brought her there this morning, and she went on the pad, no problem. Maybe a little hesitancy, but since that time, she's also stayed in this area. It's a very long walk when you're that size and you have 2-inch legs, around the bed, through the door to the bathroom. So when I suspect or see that it's kind of happening, I literally pick her up and put her down on it. Of course, she doesn't like to be there. I've done what I had to do to make sure the scents were there. So that's our story of this morning. It was so nice to spend the additional time with my husband, who actually made time, to kind of, just lay down and enjoy her this morning before he took off for work. I woke up, just feeling sick and gruddy, like the sore throat kind of thing. but I think we shall be fine. But it does bring me back to the days of remembering, especially being single or having the kind of person you might as well be single when you're trying to raise children. And, single moms, period. Here's a big shout out to you. I remember, what do you do when you're sick? I mean, like, I'm not, but really sick to a point where you need to be in bed, you can barely function, and there's nobody else. You have to do this. That child is still there. It still has, emotional needs as well as the very basics that have to be addressed every day. It's no joke. And I believe God gives us the extra portion that we need, and that we can do a lot of beating ourselves up over something. Those are the days you're doing your very best. And it might get thrown at you in their adolescence, about, you couldn't even get me to practice that day, or whatever the case may be. But when they're older, and they don't even have to have kids yet, and they look back at those days and realize how difficult it is to function no matter what, when you're physically feeling bad, real bad, and you have to do this on your own because there's no choice. And I hope, to those of you that just feel unable to do that or to break through, call, I don't want to say like child services or anything like that, because for one, I just absolutely think they're probably amongst one of the most corrupt groups in existence. They have absolutely untethered authority. There is nobody over them. They work for the governor of that particular state, and all they choose and will listen to is whatever it's called in different states, DSS, CPS, DVEX, whatever it is. They're just completely unquestioned and completely unchallenged. But when it comes down, if it ever came down to that, God forbid, it really doesn't for most, and you know in your heart of hearts, you're just unable to care for your child. But I would tell you folks, utilize every other alternative. They are the less of the two evils, being you literally, physically, or mentally cannot care for that child, and there is nobody else in the world. But I would strongly suggest maybe calling your your local church, if you can reach out. There's a lot of hotlines where you can call anonymously. You've got to understand who is a mandated reporter and who is not. Boy, I wasn't going here. I just wanted to tell you about my puppy, but I've just seen too many women fall prey to that belief that they want to help. That's not to say every single social worker doesn't have that ability or desire, or I think all of them kind of got involved in it for the right reasons, for very altruistic and loving reasons. I myself had one for myself as a child when I was a little girl. I might have been her first client, but she was the most wonderful woman and kindest person in the world. Mary Ellen Babbitt. I'm going to call you out by name, girl, because you deserve it. But this was on the other, that's a whole another video. But yeah, I would utilize every other source before I would do that at all. And if it ever had to be done, God forbid, just remember they're not your friends. They're not on your side. But that will never, ever have to be a problem for Miss Rosie. She will be as loved and as cared for as a human child, as a human infant. Couldn't honestly say. They're just as much work. They're a different kind of work. But that's a human baby. You can't, like, run down to the store and lock them in a crate or leave them in the back of your freaking car. So, yes, that is obviously much more serious. But look at this. Look at this. It was a holotask to take on at 62. You know, but I had her big brother, God rest his soul, not literal brother, for 18 years. So I absolutely, obviously fell in love with him and the breed itself. So, which I have learned. And ow! Oh, she just got me good. Rose, we gotta start deterring that. That's gonna be a skin ripper. Wait a minute. Oh, yeah, see that? Look at that perfect little tooth indent. Okay, we've got to deal with this. So I will post y'all later and catch everybody up. But we have a major setback on potty training today. And I'm starting to think this girl might have had possible ties to the Dutch mafia. Ow! No. Okay. We gotta start deterring that right now, because that is no joke. The skin did not. Oh, yeah, she did. She broke the skin on that. Yeah, that's a problem. And we will talk more about how to deal with that, those little puppy fangs, and given her obvious ties to the Dutch mafia that I will show you in a prior attack on my husband earlier this morning, coming up on the next video. Oh, my Lord. Rosie. Sheesh.